All right. Welcome, welcome. Oh my gosh. Today we're going to be talking about how to get corporate speaking engagements. This has been a conundrum and a challenge for so many speakers. And I am so excited that Charmaine Hammond is here today to talk with us about the insider secrets, the scoop on what to do to actually get those speaking engagements with corporate and government agencies. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the show Charmaine Hammond. Hi, Charmaine.
Hi, Laura. Great to be with you today.
So good to be with you too. Um, it's I know you've been doing this for a long time, right? How did you get into it, and how long have you been doing the speaking specifically with corporate and government agencies?
27 years. I
What?
opened up my, I know, I've just revealed my age, sort of. So I opened up my dispute resolution company in 1997, and I was doing corporate mediation and corporate facilitations. And very quickly, like within 6 months of opening the business, I started getting a lot of requests from clients, which were big corporations, small businesses, everything in between, and all three levels of government, and asking me to train on things like conflict resolution, resolving difficult situations in the workplace. So I was mediating and facilitating and negotiating, and then on the other side, doing training and speaking. And then that eventually, sort of within about 10 years, turned into me speaking and training full time in my business.
Wow. So you really know what you're doing. You've
I
had a lot
think
of success. But
presented
so,
to about 500,000 people now in person, and about that same amount on online training programs.
wow, that's impressive. So would you recommend, and if so, why doing corporate speaking and government organization speaking?
One of the things I love about speaking for corporations and speaking for government, whichever level of government you want to speak for, is that because there's multiple departments, there is almost endless opportunities to have continued work. And that's certainly been my experience. It starts out with I remember one client in the very first few months of me speaking and training in 1997. It was a government and municipal government, and they brought me in to do just a lunch and learn, actually, for a team of maybe 15 people. And then communications caught wind of that, and other departments caught wind of that. So basically, over the next 18 years, they were one of my largest clients for speaking, training, consulting projects. And that has happened the same way with corporations as well.
So So when we think about getting into corporations, doesn't seem like it's for everyone, and maybe not a straight path. What types of speakers are corporations and government organizations looking for?
Mm. A lot of that will depend on the industry, first of all, for a corporation. One of the things that is been helpful for me, and certainly for a lot of you listening to this today, you will fall into the same category. I speak on hard conversations, high pressure communication, conflict resolution, leadership, and team building. Those are kind of my core topics. And it doesn't matter what industry or government, pretty much every organization has those kind of issues. So the topics that I speak on go across all sectors, all levels. Now, for other folks that speak, maybe you speak on sales, or maybe you speak on menopause, or maybe you speak on parenting. One of the things that you might have to do is find a way to still have your topic be appealing. So I'm going to use the parenting one as an example, because we actually got contracted by a corporation to develop a whole series of training programs for their employees who were parents. So we ended up creating conflict resolution for the family, how to deal with sibling rivalry. And they delivered that to, or we delivered that to families. So if you were a speaker on parenting or health, you want to be able to find that angle so that it fits into what the corporation is looking for, which means to know that we have to do a lot of research and we have to build relationships with them. What doesn't work is people just sending speaker one sheets and sending pitch documents, because human resource departments, which is often who books me, and supplier diversity teams, procurement teams, they get pitched every day by people who want to speak and train and consult with them. the fastest route is to actually start building the relationship with them. That's where it becomes really quite magical.
And if you could give one tip to do that, what would you recommend people do to build those relationships within those organizations?
Ooh, good question. So, I love LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn so much. And that's what I use LinkedIn for actually. Every day, I spend about 10 minutes on LinkedIn using search features in LinkedIn to find human resource directors or joint health safety committee directors or the director of people and culture. These are departments that I speak to. But if you were, say, speaking in the IT world or speaking in the sales world or the marketing world, you might be looking up different departments than I am. But what I do is I have a really well crafted, and I'm going to be sharing my script at the speaker success training, but how I first get connected with them on LinkedIn, because they hang out on LinkedIn and they tend to be, I'm just finding they honestly tend to be more receptive to a LinkedIn message than an email message, and they respond. So they accept the connection request and then the conversation is on. And then I usually ask to take the conversation to a quick phone call. And that's where the relationship building begins. The other way is I go to conferences, and I often will speak at industry conferences. I spoke at a human resource conference in October in another province, and there were about 300 people. And it was a no fee. I don't call it free speaking, but no fee speaking. And I actually had to pay my own travel, and it has paid off significantly in terms of the benefits that came from that. So, attending conferences where the audience that you will be speaking to from that corporation or government, those conferences that they attend, is a great place to meet them.
Yeah, if you're seen already speaking and they have an experience of you, they can fast hire you much faster. So it's a
Absolutely.
brilliant strategy. You got to be out there. You can't just expect to connect and
Yeah,
get a speaking engagement. It's
exactly.
really, it takes work, and people don't realize that. And then people also want to delegate that work, and that takes another element of separation. It doesn't always work. So it sounds like it's a real commitment to get corporate engagements.
It is. And some of my speaking actually comes from a bureau that represents me as well. So there is a bureau that I am part of, and they are frequently pitching me along with other speakers to government and to corporations and to conferences and conventions. But the majority of the outreach that happens for my speaking business is through me, and it has served me well. I have tried in the past putting that on to other people. And at the end of the day, the majority of questions that they ask are not ones that someone could answer for you unless they have the exact experience and have seen you speak to nearly every topic and to every audience. So I just tend to think they're wanting to hire you. There might be people that do the initial calls, though, Laura, that where they kind of do that initial outreach
Mhm.
and then get you on a call with that person who might hire you.
Right. That's excellent advice. And it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense to build those relationships. You can have someone open the door, but to build a relationship, you've got to do it. And you know your stuff best. And you're, from the moment you're speaking to trying to connect with somebody, you are in a relationship building mode. And
Absolutely.
only you can do that. And
Yeah.
I almost said sales mode, but that scares people. So relationship building mode. So
Exactly. Exactly.
what I love is that, and although we only have a few minutes here, you're going to be doing a full 90-minute session at Women Speakers Associations
Yes.
on their speaker success training, which is happening May 8th, next Wednesday at 1 o'clock Pacific. And it's open to anyone who goes to speakersuccesstraining.com. But tell me, why should they come? What are you going to reveal?
Well, I'm going to reveal some of the strategies behind how I get my speaking. So, things like who I actually reach out to, what do I say on those initial meetings, how do I get repeat business. I'm also going to be talking about the different ways that you can build relationships. So, I gave a couple of tips today already. Another one is doing things like writing for magazines. I wrote for a payroll magazine about conflict resolution and resilience, and that ended up getting me booked at 3 conferences to speak from their members. So using the marketing materials that are available to you through your potential clients, we're going to talk about how to do that. Also, the importance of proposals. I have gone back to what I did many, many years ago, which was creating training proposals and speaking proposals. And I am finding that the conversion rate from doing those versus having a meeting, sending my one sheet, sending the video, sending references, sending my fees, when I wrap that up into a really beautiful proposal, those get moved and acted on very quickly. And I'm having huge success with that. So I'm going to share what goes in the proposal and how do I navigate that. We'll talk a little bit about how my feedback form generates about 20% of my speaking business, and so why they are important and how to actually use them as a marketing tool. And then there is one other piece we're going to talk about is how to get testimonials. Testimonials are really important, and I'm talking high level testimonials. And so I'm going to share the strategy that I use to get testimonials on my LinkedIn, because I am finding that more and more people who book me to speak are going to LinkedIn. Many have not even been to my website, which is very interesting. So there's
Yeah,
a little tip.
LinkedIn,
Make sure your LinkedIn is good.
LinkedIn, optimize your LinkedIn, because when people search your name,
Mhm.
typically the LinkedIn page comes up before your website.
It does for me. Yep.
And then
Exactly.
they can see your recommendations, they can see your interaction and what you're posting about, and they can see your contact information, of course. So yeah, I
Exactly.
love helping people optimize their LinkedIn because it's made such a difference in their speaking in particular.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
yeah, that's great. Well, again, that's speakersuccesstraining.com if you want to attend Charmaine's training. It is there is no fee, right, for that? Yeah.
Yes.
So go to speakersuccesstraining.com and read all about it. And you've already heard about it. And we'll see you on the 8th at 1 o'clock. And yeah, it's virtual, just so you know, it's live.
Online.
It's live, it's not a replay. Members will get the replay
Yeah.
of Women Speakers Association. And if you want more information about Women Speakers Association, please go to joinwsa.com and learn more. And join us on May 8th, 1 o'clock. Just RSVP for the Zoom link at speakersuccesstraining.com. Any last words of encouragement or inspiration about getting corporate or government agency speaking engagements?
I'd say a great tip to do if you're coming to the training on May 8th, I would love you to write down or just have handy 10 of your dream clients. So 10 corporations or businesses that you would love to be a presenter, speaker, or trainer for. And if there are some government departments that you can see your topics having a great fit, because then as we go through the content on May 8th, you can start to apply that in real life to the clients you want to start attracting, because of course I'm all about action. So afterwards you'll all be challenged to what are you going to do with the information you just learned so that you can get booked quickly.
And I love this exercise of writing down who do you want to speak to, what organizations, because it really gets your brain thinking. Because right now it's like, oh, deer in headlights, I don't know. But take the information that you said earlier is like, who's the appropriate type of organization and person in the organization, and then your wheels will start turning, like, oh, there's this corporation down the road, oh, I have a friend in that corporation.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we are so much more connected than we actually think we are.
Exactly. All right, well, I can't wait for next Wednesday's speaker success training. Thank you so much, Charmaine, and we'll
Thank you.
see you next week for another edition of the WSA TV Women Premiere Show. And I'm Laura Rubenstein, your host and producer. Bye for now.